What's up, guys? Zero Maverick from L2 Streams here. Today we're going to be going over just how to work around OBS Studio. Whenever you first open it up, it may look rather overwhelming, a little bit confusing, but I want to show you that it's really not as bad as it seems. So let's go ahead and let's get right into it. Alright, so whenever you first open up OBS Studio, there would generally be a black screen right here. What that actually would be the preview of what you're trying to record or what you're trying to stream to Twitch. You also would not have anything in the scenes or the sources right here, so just ignore those. What I first want to go over actually the profiles inside of OBS itself. These profiles are nice because what they actually do, they hold the settings for things like local recording, versus the settings for if you were trying to stream to Twitch or YouTube. So it's always best to actually have those things split up due to the fact that you want to have higher bitrate when you're trying to just record locally versus when you're trying to stream to Twitch. You're actually being limited by your internet's upload speed that your internet provider is giving you. It is also good to note that these profiles don't hold things like scenes or sources. If you don't know what either of those are, we will be going over those later in this video. So the View tab over here is especially important because if you go to Docs, it actually lets you control what you see in OBS Studio itself. So if for some reason you didn't want to see scenes, click Scenes, then that will disappear, but I think probably most people want to see it. Another nice thing about it is the stats right here that may or may not actually come showing up just when you first open up OBS Studio. So I highly suggest adding stats and then dragging and dropping it over there in the middle between your scene transitions and your mixer. Now if you click toolbars, you go to list boxes, you can see right there, pretty much got rid of the way that you would be adding scenes and you would be adding sources. You can also click stat right here if you want to. Then it will also pull it up right there, which you would be able to just drag and drop that right there. So the scenes are very important because they hold the sources. Now, if you don't know what the sources are, don't worry, we're going to be going over that too. If you want to add a new scene, you'd click the plus button, type in what you want, then click OK. Now, sources are very, very important because they are the things like your capture card, they are your webcam, they are your PC game, and what you're trying to record on your computer itself. If you want to add a new source, click the plus button. You'll notice there are things like the browser, so that would be something like a URL to your notification to be able to actually have something pop up whenever someone follows or donates to you. The display capture would actually show what's on your monitor. The game capture, well, PC game, an image, pretty obvious. Slideshow, that's obvious. The media source would be something like a video file. The scene is, well, it's a scene that would show up there. Text, quite obvious. Video capture device would be something like your webcam or your capture card. And then a window capture would just be a specific window from within Windows itself. So the Help tab up here is extremely wonderful. It actually lets you see the log files, it lets you see the crash reports, and stuff like that. Best of all is it actually lets you join the OBS Studio Discord server. So if you ever have any kind of issues, you can go there and then you can actually ask for some tech support help if for some reason we're not able to actually get to you quick enough. Also lets you check for updates, and it also just tells you a bit about the OBS itself. So 64-bit version of OBS Studio. Another very important thing about OBS Studio is the fact that you can actually use something called Studio Mode. If you click this right here, right underneath the recording, basically comes up with two of these. So you're noticing at the moment I have a bunch of things that are popping up. And the one to the left is actually the preview, so if you tried to make a change, it would first show up on the preview, and then if you actually like what's happening, you can actually go to the transition, and then it will push it over to what's actually being recording or whatever is being streamed. So over here in the middle right, we're actually looking at the stats. The stats are super, super nice because if you're having any kind of issues, they can actually help you troubleshoot. So if you're actually dropping frames due to rendering lag, that would mean you're probably having something going on with your GPU. Maybe you're overloading your GPU. If you are having skipped frames due to encoding lag, then you're probably overloading your CPU. Another really nice thing about it is that it will actually show you just how big the file is as you're trying to record it, as you're trying to stream. So as you can see, mine just keeps climbing and climbing. It's probably going to hit about 200 megs by the time we're finished with it. It'll also give you the hard disk space available and the amount of memory that OBS Studio is actually using. Alright, now last but not least, we're going to be going over the audio mixer. Right here, right next to sources, it basically lets you control all the audio. So this lets you control your microphone, this lets me control just the sounds that are coming from possibly your capture card versus just the sounds that are playing from your computer. You can adjust them by up, down. You can mute them by clicking that. If you want to go a little bit more deep, you can click the cog right here. Then you can make a bunch of changes from within here. It can get a little bit more complicated from within there, but it can be nice because you are able to apply audio filters. So if you know what you're doing, you can add a compressor, you can add a noise gate, you can add all that fun stuff. Alright, so that's all we got for you today. A little bit later on, we're going to be going a little bit more in depth on how to actually work with OBS Studio to try and tweak things to your liking. If you have any questions, anything that you thought that we could do to make this video better, or you just want to say hi, feel free to leave a message down in the comments, and we'll try to answer back as soon as possible.